Hello everyone, welcome to the daily current affair analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy, 21st January 2026. Before getting into the discussion, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't, please do subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the Academy. So coming to the topics for today's discussion, the first topic is about the Indiaphonte bijoyi. So it is a recently discovered genus and a species of crustacean from the lagoon of Kavaratti, which is located in the Union Territory of Lakshadweep, and it was discovered by the researchers from CUSAT, that is the Cochin Institute of Science and Technology. And the next article is regarding the saltwater crocodile and conservation. So recently, the Department of Forest and Environment in the state of Odisha conducted a survey to estimate the population of saltwater crocodile in the state of Odisha, and we can see that there is an increase in the population of the saltwater crocodile comparing with the 2025. And the next article, child and the right against exploitation. So we can see that India as a nation, we have taken a lot of initiatives for the development and growth of the children, but at the same time the exploitation faced by the children is a disturbing reality in India. So we'll be discussing the children and the right against exploitation on the background of the recent judgment from the Supreme Court of India. And the next article is regarding the India UAE relations. So we know that on the invitation of the Prime Minister, the president of UAE recently visited, that is on 19th January, visited India, and both nations are planning to set up a data embassy in the UAE. And the next we will be focusing on prelims focus. If all set, let's begin the discussion with the first article. Microscopic crustacean discovered in Kavaratti established as a new genus and species, says researchers. The article is taken from The Hindu. So what is the news? So the researchers from the CUSAT, that is the Cochin University of Science and Technology, recently discovered a microscopic crustacean from the lagoon of Kavaratti, which is located in the Union Territory of Lakshadweep. The scientific name of this crustacean is Indiaphonte bijoyi. So the term Indiaphonte bijoyi refers to the genus, while Indiaphonte refers to the genus, while bijoyi refers to the species. The name bijoyi, the species name, is a tribute to the S. Bijoy Nandan, who is the Dean Faculty of the Marine Science in the Cochin University of Science and Technology. And you can see that this crustacean, this Indiaphonte bijoyi, they mostly live in the sediments of aquatic environment, including the ecosystem of lagoon. So you can one more thing you have to note that this is how the crustacean will look like. The length is just it is less than 1 millimeter. That means we need a microscope to see this crustacean. And another thing is that it is a part of meiofauna. See, these meiofauna organisms are the organisms which lives in the pores of the sediments. They live in the tiny gap of the sediments, and you can see that they are invertebrate with less than 1 millimeter of length. Okay, and coming to the other morphological characteristics of this species, you can see that, like I mentioned, it is a microscopic crustacean, which means it can be seen, or it is visible only under the microscope. And the body is partially cylindrical and slightly flattened, and you can see that the middle part of the body is broader, and it will narrow towards the end. And in the case of this crustacean, the most important feature is the male and the female, they appear very similar in terms of size. And one more thing, they have swimming legs, tail part, and antenna. So here we can see the legs, here we can see the antenna, and this is a middle body part. So these are the important body parts of this crustacean, or Indiaphonte bijoyi. Coming to the ecological role of this crustacean, so you have to understand that they are considered as bio-indicator. That means these crustaceans can exist only in clear and safe environment. If the crustacean population, if this Indiaphonte bijoyi population is reducing, or they are migrating to some other place, that is indicating that the existed ecosystem is under threat or some sort of danger. And one more thing you have to understand, that this crustaceans plays a crucial role in ensuring the health of the marine ecosystem as well as the marine organisms. They can produce and convert omega-3 fatty acids such as ecnosapenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. These two acids are very important for the marine organism as well as for humans. So in the case of humans, these acids are very important to deal with heart problem, to deal with the inflammation and kidney health. and this is also very important to the marine organisms for their health. And one more thing we have to understand that they are also used, these crustaceans are also used in aquaculture and fisheries for the to feed the fish larvae. So these are the important ecological role of this Indiaphonte bijoys, or the microscopic crustaceans. And coming to the prelims practice question, the question is with reference to Indiaphonte bijoy, consider the following statements. Statement 1, it is a microscopic crustacean belonging to Myofauna and can be observed only under microscope. Statement 2, it plays an important ecological role by producing omega-3 fatty acids. Statement 3, marked morphological differences between male and female are the key identifying features of this species. So from our discussion, we we mentioned that the female and male almost look similar in terms of size and everything. They look very similar. So here, if we consider that, then we can here we can eliminate the option. The statement 3. So if the statement 3 is eliminated, B, C, D, these three options will be eliminated. So the correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. So they are microscopic crustacean belonging to the Myofauna. Myofauna, like I already mentioned, which has less than 1 millimeter length, and they are invertebrate, and they live in the tiny gap of the sediments, right? And it can be observed only under microscope. Yes, the statement 1 is correct. And it can produce, it plays an important role by producing omega-3 fatty acid. They can produce and convert the omega-3 fatty acid, which is very important for the marine organisms to maintain their health. So the statement 2 is also correct. So the statement 3 is correct. So the correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. Yes, with this we will move to the next article. Odisha's saltwater crocodile population rises to 1,858. The article is taken from The Hindu. So what is the news? So the news is about the recent population estimation of crocodile, saltwater crocodile, and the survey was conducted by the Odisha Forest and Environment Department between 8th and 10th January of 2026. And they used the drone-based survey to estimate the population of the saltwater crocodile. And coming to the areas covered under the survey, the survey covered 4 major habitats of saltwater crocodile. The first is Bidharganiga National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary, the second largest mangrove, and also one of the most, not one of the most important habitat of the saltwater crocodile in India. And the next is Gahirmada Wildlife Sanctuary. The third is Mahanadi Delta region. The fourth is Devi River mouth area. So these are the areas covered under the survey, and we can see that the largest population of the saltwater crocodile was found from the Bidharganiga National Park, which is the second largest mangrove in India after Sundarbans, and also the important habitat of the saltwater crocodile. And coming to the population status, so comparing with the 2025, 2025, there is an increase of nearly 32 crocodiles in 2026. So this is showing an increase in the number of the crocodile population. And Odisha has the India's largest natural population of saltwater crocodile. So not this point. This point is very important in the prelims point of view. So Odisha has the largest population, natural population of the saltwater crocodile. And you have to note that the conservation status of the saltwater crocodile, it is also very important from the prelims point of view. So it is protected under the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and it is also categorized in the Appendix 1 of the CITES, which strictly bans the international trade of the species unless and until there is a proper framework between two nations. And coming to the the distribution of the population. So like I mentioned, the Bidharganiga has the largest population, that is around 1,424, followed by Rajnagar range, which has nearly 292, and Mahakalpada, which is located near the Mahanadi Delta. It has a estimated population of nearly 99 saltwater crocodile, and Gahirmada range has nearly 43. So note that the highest number, that is nearly 1,424 crocodiles are found in the Ganika region, that is Bidharganika region, the second largest mangrove in India after Sundarbans, and the most important habitat for the saltwater crocodile in India. And coming to the prelims practice question, the question is with reference to saltwater crocodile population in Odisha, consider the following statements. Statement 1, Odisha has the largest population of saltwater crocodile in their natural habitat in India. Statement 2, Bidar National Park and the Wildlife Sanctuary is the core habitat for saltwater crocodiles in Odisha. Statement 3. In the latest census, juveniles, that is the crocodile between 3 to 6 feet, constituted the highest proportion among all age groups. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 1 and 2 only, option C 2 and 3 only, and option D 1, 2 and 3. So we can see that Odisha has the largest population of saltwater crocodile in their natural habitat. We already discussed this. So the statement 1 is correct. Bidarkanika National Park and the Wildlife Sanctuary is the core habitat for the saltwater crocodile in India. Yes, we can see that nearly 1,400 plus crocodiles were found. Crocodile individuals were found in the Bidarkanika region. The region near the Bidarkanika National Park. So the statement 2 is also correct. Statement 3. In the latest census, juveniles constituted the highest proportion among all age groups. No, the hatchling population constituted the highest proportion among all age group, not the juvenile. The hatchling population contributed to nearly 28%. So the statement 3 is incorrect, while the statement 1 and 2 are correct. So the correct answer will be option B, 1 and 2 only. Let's check. Yes, with this we will move to the next topic. How should India tackle child trafficking? The article is taken from The Hindu. So recently the Supreme Court of India, in the case KP Kiran Kumar versus the state of Karnataka, in this case the Supreme Court upheld the conviction of KP Kiran Kumar. See, this KP Kiran Kumar was a prime culprit in 2010 child exploitation case in the city of Bengaluru in Karnataka, and the Karnataka High Court convicted this person for the crime, and in 2015 this person went against the judgment of Karnataka's High Court, and in 2025 in the month of December the Supreme Court upheld the conviction of KP Kiran Kumar and also gave strict guidelines to prevent such offences. And the Supreme Court also held that the issues or the crimes like trafficking are the gross violation of Article 21, which guarantees right to life and personal liberty. So we know that in different time, as a nation, we have taken a lot of initiatives for the healthy development of the children. But at the same time, the child trafficking and similar exploitations are a disturbing reality of India. If you take the data from the National Crime Record Bureau in 2022, we can see that over 3,000 children were rescued from such exploitation. And between 2024 and 2025, over 53 children were rescued from similar exploitations. But the problem is conviction rate. If you take the conviction rate for such offences between 2018 and 2022, the conviction rate is just 4.8. Before discussing further, what is meant by child trafficking? So we have a lot of international and national programs, initiatives and conventions for the protection of child's rights. But the most important one is the Palermo Protocol. So this Palermo Protocol is a UN protocol to prevent, suppress and punish the trafficking in persons, especially women and children. See, this protocol was adopted in the year 2000 and came to force in the year 2003. So this protocol is known for its standard definition for child trafficking. So according to this protocol, the child trafficking means the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring and the receipt of a child for the purpose of exploitation. Not that word, exploitation. And we have another definition given by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita section 143. So according to this Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita section 143, the child trafficking means whoever for the purpose of exploitation recruits, transports, harbors, transfers or receives a person or persons by using force, by using threat or using force or any other form of coercion or by abduction or by practicing fraud, deception or by abusing of power or by inducement, including giving and receiving of payments or benefits for exchange of children in order to achieve the consent of any person having control over the person recruited, transported, harbored, transferred or received commits the offense of trafficking. So we have a lengthy definition for the child trafficking, but at the same time it is very detailed. That means not just paying or giving something, even receiving benefits or payments in exchange of children or a person or persons is a crime, is a crime of trafficking according to the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita section 143. And we can see that in the both definitions, that is the definition of UN protocol and the definition provided by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, uses the term exploitation. Why? Because the term exploitation has a wider scope. The exploitation can be anything: psychological, physical, sexual, or any other form of exploitation that can be slavery, servitude, or forced removal of organs from the person or children. All this comes under the crime of human trafficking or child trafficking. And what are the constitutional provisions that we have for the protection of our children? So, like I already mentioned, the Supreme Court highlighted that the trafficking is a gross violation of Article 21, that is a right to life and personal liberty. And we can see that the Constitution of India, we have one of the fundamental rights, that is the right against exploitation. So we have the Article 23 and 24. Article 23 prohibits the traffic in human beings and forced labor. So it is prohibiting human trafficking and forced labor. And you can see that the Article 24 that prohibits the employment of children in factories and hazardous areas and industry. That means no children below the age of 14 shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous employment. So these are the major constitutional provisions we have for the protection of children, and we have one more, that is coming under the DPSP, that is the Article 39 clause E and F. So according to Article 39 clause E, no person, that can be men, women, or children, should not be forced to work or to engage in any work that is not suited for their age and health. And we have the clause F, that is the children are given opportunities and facilities. That means that the state has the responsibility to give children, has the responsibility to give the children opportunities and facilities for the healthy growth and development. So we have fundamental rights, and also we have the directive principles of state policy in the Constitution for the protection of children and also the people against the exploitations like trafficking. And what are the statutory framework we have against the exploitation? The first is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita of 2023. So it is replacing, it replaced the old IPC, the Indian Penal Code. So section 98 and 99. So section 98 replaces the old section 372, and the section 99 replaces the old section 373. So it is prohibiting the selling and buying of minors for any offense or for any exploitation. And next we have the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956, which is focusing on the prevention and prohibition of sexual exploitation and prostitution. And then we have the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015, which is focusing on rehabilitation, reintegration and rescue of the children. And next we have the most important act, that is the POSCO Act of 2012. So this covers crimes such as sexual assault, harassment, and child pornography. Storing, sharing, shooting, and selling child pornography is a grave crime according to the POSCO Act of 2012. And the most feature of this act is it is gender neutral. That means, either if the victim is either boy or girl, the punishment will be same. And severe punishments are given under this act, that includes life imprisonment or even death penalty in severe cases. And under this act, we have established nearly 400 plus fast track POSCO court for the rapid disposal of justice. And coming to the key judgments regarding the child's right. The first is Vishaljit versus the Union of India, 1999. So in this case, the Supreme Court upheld that the trafficking and the child prostitution are a part of existing socio-economic problems, and therefore we also need a preventive and humanist approach to deal with these type of social issues. And next we have the Supreme Court of India in C. Mehta versus the state of Tamil Nadu in 1996. So in this case, the Supreme Court prohibited the child labor in hazardous industries. So, and this case is also important because this case played a crucial role in establishing principles like absolute liability. So what is meant by absolute liability? Imagine a scenario where a child is working in a hazardous industry and the child got injured. And the injury or that accident was due to the child's fault. In this case also, the industry will be absolutely responsible for the child's unfortunate incident or such accidents. Even if the accident is caused due to the child's fault, according to this principle, the industry will be absolutely responsible for the accident. And this is AMC Mehta versus the state of Tamil Nadu 1996 played a crucial role in establishing the principle. And next we have the Bachpan Bajao Andolan versus the Union of India 2011 case. So in this case, the Supreme Court gave directions to curb child trafficking and similar exploitation. And now we have the case that we have already discussed, that is a KP Kiran Kumar versus state of Karnataka. So in this case, the Supreme Court upheld that the trafficking is a gross violation of Article 21 of Indian Constitution. So these are the key judgments that we can highlight while writing a mains answer. And coming to the mains practice question, the question is, child trafficking is not merely a criminal justice issue, but a violation of fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution of India. Examine constitutional, legal, and judicial mechanisms available in India to combat child trafficking. So we can start the answer with the definition, the standard definition for the child trafficking given by the UN protocol, that is a Palermo protocol, or you can give the definition given by the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, but it is little bit lengthy. So we can go with the UN protocol. That will be very convenient because it can save a lot of space. And you can see that it is not just a criminal justice issue, but it is a violation of fundamental rights. What are the fundamental rights violated here? Article 21, 23, and 24. And you can see that, and we have to examine what are the constitutional, legal, and judicial mechanisms that we have currently to deal with such issues. So constitutional provisions we already discussed. We have the fundamental rights, that is Article 21, 23, and 24. Then we have the DPSP 39, Article 39, clause E and F. And so these are the constitutional provisions. What are the legal provisions? We already discussed Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, Juvenile Justice Act, Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act of 1956. So these are the legal provisions that we have. And what are the judicial mechanisms? So here we can talk about the establishment of 400 plus POSCO courts to deal with the POSCO cases, for the rapid justice in the POSCO cases, that you can talk. And then we can talk about the Child Rights Commission. Then we can also highlight the important judicial judgments. We already discussed some of the important judicial judgments and try to highlight the most important one, that is the MC Mehta versus the Union of versus the state of Tamil Nadu 1996. That is very important because that case established the principle of absolute liability. So you can highlight these cases. So with this hints, try to answer the question and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the next article. So it's a 50 marks question and you have to write around 250 words. India explores setting up data embassy in UAE. The article is taken from Indian Express. So on the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the President of UAE, that is Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, visited India on 19th January 2026. And this time, both nations are exploring the possibility of setting up a data embassy in UAE. So in this background, let us discuss more about this article. So we can see that the India-UAE relationship, the official relationship starts in the year in the 1970s, but in the beginning, the relation was mainly focusing on labor and oil. That means India will be supplying labor, especially to the service and construction sector in the UAE, and the UAE in return will be giving oil and remittance to India. That is how the India-UAE relation existed for a long time. But now we can see that in the recent time, beyond the economy, now we can see a strong partnership between two nations in the field of polity, also in economy, climate, and also in emerging sectors like digital infrastructure and all. And now both nations are focusing on establishing a digital embassy, a data embassy in the UAE. So we'll be seeing what is data embassy, and we can see that UAE is India's third largest trading partner, second largest exporting destination, and also a key strategic partner in the West Asia. And now, like I mentioned in the beginning, the relation was mainly focusing on oil and labor, but now it is focusing on political side, economic and energy, and it is focusing on cultural, as well as it is focusing on emerging areas like defense, climate change, and also in the digitalism. And coming to the historical evolution, like I mentioned, the official relationship, the diplomatic relation with the UAE starts around 1970s. The early phase, like I mentioned, it was dominated by the crude oil import and the Indian migrant labor. And at the same time, in the beginning, that means till 2000, there was a strong Cold War pressure on both sides, that means on both India as well as UAE. And at the same time, the UAE's tilt towards Pakistan on Kashmir issue was a barrier in the India UAE relationship. But we can see that towards the post 2000s, after since the beginning of the 21st century, the economic ties between both nations got flourished. And now we can see that, and even though the economic relation between both nations became strong, the economic relation wasn't that much open, that much it wasn't visible that much, and it remained in shadow till 2014. And in 2014, so here you can see the map of the UAE. So UAE, we know that it is a combination of states like Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, like that. So here you can see the map of the UAE. It is located in West Asia, so it is sharing border with the Persian Gulf, and it is sharing border with the Saudi Arabia and the Oman. So these are the important things that you have to remember regarding the geography of the UAE. And moving on to the evolution of the diplomatic relation. So we can see that in the 1970s the relationship started, and since 2000 the relationship till 2000 the relationship was mainly focusing on crude oil and the labor exchange. And you can see that since the beginning of the 2000, the economic ties between the both nations became strong, but that economic tie remained in shadow. But after 2015, the economic ties between UAE and India became visible and apparent to the international scenario. So we can see that in 2015, Narendra Modi visited UAE. That means and that marked the first visit of an Indian Prime Minister in last 34 years. And in 2017, the Crown Prince of UAE, that is Mohammed bin Salman, he visited India as the chief guest for the Republic Day. And in 2022, we can see a joint comprehensive economic partnership was signed between the UAE and India. And you can see that the after signing, the signing of this comprehensive economic partnership or agreement resulted into deep political trust, UAE support for terror financing concerns, and shift from Pakistan centric prism to India centric engagement. So like I mentioned, after signing this 2022 trade agreement, the political trust between the two nations got strengthened. At the same time, both nations started focusing on defense area, especially anti-terrorist measures. And at the same time, now this comprehensive economic partnership also marked a shift from Pakistan-centric prism to India-centric engagement. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, even though since 1970s the trade relation between India and the UAE was strong, especially in the field of gold, in the field of crude oil and labor exchange, but the factor of Pakistan was a barrier in the India UAE relation. But now we can see that that was overran through this comprehensive economic partnership agreement. And coming to the economic and energy cooperation, so we can see that as per the data from 2023 and 24, the trade between the India and UAE stands at the value of 85 billion. And you can see that the target is currently both nations are targeting 100 billion. And the comprehensive economic partnership agreement of 2022 reduced the tariff for nearly 90% of the goods. So more Indian goods can find a place in the UAE market, and it will be very helpful for the medium, small, and micro, small, and medium enterprises, gems, jewelry, pharmaceutical industry, and also the textile industries of India. And coming to the energy sector, so we can see that the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company and the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India established the Videsh Strategic Oil Storage at Padur in Chennai. So this is showing the cooperation between India and UAE in the field of energy. And we can see that since 1970s, both nations were focusing on crude oil trade. So that is also there since 1970s. And diaspora remittance and soft power. So we can see that Indian diaspora in UAE. So approximately 3.5 million Indians are living in UAE, and the remittance from the UAE contributes approximately 17 to 18 billion annually. That means the total exchange rate, the trade between India and UAE is standing at 85 billion, right? 85 billion, and out of it, nearly 70 to 18 billion dollar are through remittance, and the Indian professionals are working in the field of healthcare, education, and also in the technology, and unskilled laborers or medium skilled laborers are working in the sectors of text construction and services. And coming to the institutional mechanism, so both nations have signed labor welfare agreements, skill mobility initiatives for ensuring better mobility of laborers between two nations. And coming to the defense, security, and maritime cooperation. So, like I mentioned, now, like I already said, after signing the comprehensive economic partnership agreement, we can see a shift from Pakistan-centric, approach to India-centric engagement. So now both nations are focusing on counter-terrorism, intelligence sharing, and also the maritime security. The best examples for this initiatives are Operation or Desert Cyclone exercise. So it's a joint army exercise between India and UAE, which is focusing on urban, urban operations. And the Sayyid Talwar, so it's a joint naval exercise between UAE and India. And you can see that through that, India, the UAE, the military cooperation or the defense cooperation with the UAE is indirectly contributing to the strengthening the role of India in the Indian Ocean region. And coming to the emerging domains, the cooperation between India and UAE in the emerging domains. So what is the present proposal? The present proposal is for the data embassy. What is meant by data embassy? Data embassy is a center where we store the data. Okay, what is meant by data embassy then? Data embassy is a place where a nation store its data, but the location of this data center will be in another country. For example, now the India and the UAE is planning to establish a data embassy in UAE. Okay, here we have some concerns. Okay, but this data center will be totally managed by the India. The host nation, that is the UAE, will not have any control over the data. As per the present agreement, the UAE will not have any control over the data. India will be having the sovereign control over the digital data. But UAE will be providing certain physical infrastructure for the construction of the database, for the construction of the data embassy. So, is this the first initiative in the world? No. Before that, that is in 2017 and 2021, Luxembourg has signed this similar agreements with Estonia and Monaco. So this is showing, a growing trust between India and the UAE in the field of, in the field of defense, as well as in the field of data and intelligence share. And coming to the strategic significance for India, so we can see that through engaging with the UAE, particularly through engaging in the emerging domains, India can become a norm shaper in the digital governance in the coming days. And we can see that India can also become a global South, leader of the global South digital public infrastructure. And this initiative with the UAE will also complement the digital initiatives of India, like Digital India, India Stack, and also the G20 Digital Public Good Agenda. But at the same time, challenges and concerns are there. For example, the UAE, even though regarding the data embassy, usually in such agreements, the host nations, that is the nation which is allowing another country to build the data embassy, will not have control over the data or the data embassy in the host nation. But still there are concerns regarding the data sovereignty, and regulatory harmonization is another concern. Cyber security standards. So the cyber security standards of India and the UAE may be different. So how we are going to cope with these difference? That is a question. So these are the major concerns. And coming to the other general concerns we have, it is regarding the regional instability that often visits the West Asia. For example, currently the nation of Iran is going through political, social, crisis, and balancing ties with Iran, Israel, and other Gulf countries. That is a major challenge. Data governance and privacy norms. Like I mentioned, both countries may have different standards. Both countries may have different rules. So, before establishing a database, we have to establish a framework to bring more clarity regarding this initiative. So, coming to the way forward, what can be done? How we can improve the relation, especially in the emerging domains? Institutionalizing the digital diplomacy, expanding the comprehensive economic partnership to service and AI, and joint leadership in climate finance and green hydrogen. So these are the initiatives that we can take in the coming days to strengthen the relation with the UAE. And coming to the mains practice question. The question is, India-UAE relations have evolved from an oil labor framework to a comprehensive strategic partnership. In this context, examine the significance of emerging areas such as digital diplomacy and data embassies. So it's a 50 marks question and you have to write around 250 words. So like I mentioned, is even though the relation started around 1970s, the relation was mainly focusing on what? Oil, crude oil and labor, right? But now we can see that till 2000, the focus was on oil and labor. But after 2000, there was a strong economic tie between India and UAE, but the economic tie remained shadow. That means it was not that much visible in the international scenario. But post 2015, we can see strong relation, and that was very visible in the international scenario. So this is how the India UAE relationship evolved from oil labor framework to comprehensive strategic partnership. And we can see that the next important milestone comes in the year 2022 with the signing of the comprehensive economic partnership. So with the signing of the comprehensive economic partnership, both countries started focusing on emerging areas like digitalism, digital infrastructure, defense, climate change, artificial intelligence, all these areas. And you can see that in this context, examine the significance of emerging areas such as digital diplomacy and data embassies. So we can talk about what are the advantages, or what are the advantages and initiatives that we have taken to strengthen the digital diplomacy and data embassy. So you can talk about the present meeting between the President of UAE and the Indian Prime Minister. So such initiatives you can address here, and then you can talk about what are the concerns in strengthening the digital diplomacy between two nations. And with this, then you can give a way forward. We have already highlighted some of the few points. You can use them, and you can conclude the answer. So try to answer the question using these hints and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the next article. So coming to the prelims focus, the first topic is National Youth Day. So we know that the National Youth Day is organized by the Ministry of Youth Affairs, and it is observed on January 12th every year to commemorate the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, one of the most important socio-religious leaders of the 19th century. So what is the purpose of observing the National Youth Day? So on this day, the major focus will be on the youth population. So we can help them to realize their potential. We can help them to align their personal goal with the social responsibility to achieve harmony and development. And the next topic is National Youth Festival of 2026. So the National Youth Day is organized by the Ministry of Youth, while the National Youth Festival is organized by the Ministry of Education. So this festival will act as a platform to showcase key education and skill development initiatives, which is aligning with the goal of National Education Policy of 2020. So what is the significance? The significance is emphasizing India's commitment on inclusive, technology-driven and future-ready education for youth population, and help them to realize the goal of the NEP 2020. And the next topic is Vidyanjali. So Vidya means knowledge or education. Anjali means service. So it is the online school volunteer initiative. It is launched by the Department of School Education and Literacy, working under the Ministry of Education. So the objective is this platform will act as a platform for volunteership. That means the youth population, the neighborhood, the community, they can use this platform, and they can contribute for the development and learning in the school level. So this is the purpose of Vidyanjali, not that it is a online school volunteer initiative, and it is launched by the Department of School Education and Literacy, working under the Ministry of Education. And coming to the prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to Vidyanjali initiative, consider the following statements. Statement 1, it is an online school volunteer initiative launched by the Department of School Education and Literacy under the Ministry of Education. Statement 2, it primarily focuses on providing financial assistance to private schools through corporate social responsibility funds. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both 1 and 2, and option D, neither 1 nor 2. So from our discussion, we mentioned that it is an online school volunteer initiative launched by the Department of School Education and Literacy under the Ministry of Education, right? So this statement is correct. And the second statement, it is primarily focusing on financial assistance. No, so it is a volunteer platform. So the community, the alumni, other professionals and youth, they can use this platform and they can contribute to the development and learning in the school level. That is the purpose. The financial funding or the financial assistance is not the primary focus of this Vidyanjali initiative. So the statement 2 is incorrect while the statement 1 is correct. So the correct answer will be option A, 1 only. Let's check. Yes. With this, we come to the end for the today's prelims focus. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's current affair analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the academy. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.